we convinced them to let their committees be dormant because they weren't coming up with calls, nobody was sending calls. And then we came up with the emphasis calls, and that was in 2001. And we still are doing emphasis calls, right?
Took a break and now they're back.
Are we back? Well, again, now they were dormant. But all of these things came around because of everybody writing new calls. I mean, Lee Cotman probably leads the path. He wrote so many of our calls that we now have in today's use. And we're going to only look at 3+ calls today. And keep in mind that these are calls that will be introduced at a mainstream dance. So it's not like we're trying to learn every formation or learn every arrangement. It's KISS. Keep it simple, stupid, okay? I'm going to be looking at Explode the Wave. Brad's doing linear cycle, and Terry's doing Relay the Deucey. And I think I'll just continue right into Explode the Wave. That's the one I'm going to talk about. And I don't really need to swear because it's going to be short and sweet. When I'm getting ready to teach Explode the Wave, I preface it first by doing a bunch of things that feel like Explode the Wave. I'll say heads, step to the middle, make a wave. Now I probably have to workshop that because how many dancers will do what?
Pass
They'll pass the ocean. So then you got to go back, make sure they understand what step 2 a wave is. Then you're going to do this. Before you even mention the words Explode the Wave, you tell them slide through and square through one hand. I got them feeling like Explode the Wave. I'm with the outside pair. I'm across the street. Okay, so I'm over here now looking at my right-hand lady. I do a Pass the Ocean. I got a tidal wave. I again do my Explode the Wave, but I will tell them. Slide through and square through one. There's my home spot right there. I can trade by, and now I'm over where? Corner box, okay? And maybe I'll change the axis and do the same thing. The invert rotate type thing. Step 2 a wave, or star through, pass through, then line, star through. I'm going to step 2 a wave with my corner and explode that wave, but without using the words. Slide through, and what? Square through one hand. They get the feeling of it. Bend the line, slide through. There's my corner, Allen left, promenade 8 steps. I'm back to home. I never mentioned the word explode the wave, haven't really told them the definition yet. I'm getting ready to teach that. I'll have the side step to the middle. Touch. What will they do? They'll touch a quarter. So then you got to go back and tell them. Hey, touch means just touch right hands, you'll have an ocean wave. I could have told you step 2 a wave, but you're having trouble with that earlier. So I made it easier now. We're just saying touch. So the sides are in there. Explode the wave, they're across the street. I'm looking at my right-hand lady, okay? I do a right and left through. Pass through. If I trade by, who am I going to meet?
Corner.
Corner.
Yep.
But I might tell them this. My number 4 lady is coming into the middle. I'm going to say in the middle, instead of the trade by, square through 4. 1, 2, 3. Freeze on 4. That puts a left-handed ocean wave with the boy in the middle. I then go and talk about explode the wave, where it's always going to be the square through one hand. It'll always be right hand. Always. No exceptions. Okay? So it's the same rule, but I can't use slide through, can I? This is when I introduce explode the wave as its official name. Step forward, face the center of your wave, and pull by is what the definition says. It doesn't say square through one. It says pull by. And now, I just did the right pull by. I got my hand availability. I do Allemande left. So I've looked at explode the wave from the left-hand wave to the boy in the middle. I do that again, only this time I start using the word explode the wave. Heads. Do half a zoom. Oh, check out your wave. And again, you have to tell them, what is a half a zoom? So it's really combining some mainstream workshopping, getting around to doing the plus. I now have my regular step 2 a wave in the middle, and I'm going to tell them we're going to explode the wave. This is the definition. Step forward, face the center of your wave, and pull by. Okay? I'm over here in the right-hand lady, across the street box, pass the ocean, say whoosh. And then I start playing with the words. I say explode the wave, step, turn, pull. Trade by. right and left through. I'm looking at who? Corner, and I'm in the 0 box, corner box. Step to a wave. You can say touch or step to a wave or right roll to a wave. You don't want to do that, of course. But it's all the same stuff. So now you have your wave. Again, I get them to start thinking step, turn, pull. Explode the wave. Step, turn, pull. Allemande what? Come home, square my set. Okay? And they're doing that pretty good. I'm only going to keep it with the boy on the end of the wave. 80 to 90% of this little workshop too. Okay? If they get going good with that, I introduce something else. Heads lead to the right, circle forward, make a line. This is where I'm at. Okay? I've got them doing my step, turn, pull. Step, turn, pull. They got that. I pass through. I'm going to do a relative to explode the wave, and I tell them that. You know what a line is. If we can explode the wave, we can explode the line. This is the difference. The centers are the ones that are the steppers. Everyone does the turn, and everyone does the pull. Now, I mentioned that there's an analogy for the popping action. It's like bread coming out of a toaster, the old type toasters. And I tell them the centers are the bread. Bread, step forward, pop out. Everyone turn. Everyone pull by. Get the line looking out. There's new bread. Explode the line. Pop, turn, pull. Boom. Got a new line. Explode the line again. Pop, turn, pull. I'm in a line, I'm in sequence, but I'm looking out. What's the simple call? You turn back. And I got a 0 or a partner line. But I've changed the reference point. Before, I started with my head gents, lead right circle line, ended up here. Now my line is this way. I've changed the reference point. If I go through and do that little simple module, 3 explode the lines, pass through, explode the line, pop, turn, pull. Explode the line, pop, turn, pull. Explode the line, pop, turn, pull. I'm back over here in this quadrant. Am I normal? Am I side shade?
Yes.
Yes. If I was side shade before, don't you think I'm side shade again?
I think so.
So I simply U-turn back. And before my line was with me being the center, now my line is with me being the what? The end. Later, Terry's going to show you how so many callers fall into a trap. They teach you relay the Deucey with the heads going to the middle, step to a wave. They do all of it. And then when they have the side step to the middle, make a wave, and relay the Deucey, what happens? Because there's different ends looking in and different centers. The reference point has been changed, and that's the whole thing. Then you're going to tell them, hey, let's put this all together. Back here at home, here's my bird. Step to a wave, heads. Explode the wave. Step, turn, pull. Slide through. Pass through. Explode the line. Pop, turn, pull. U-turn back. Pass the ocean. Explode the wave. Step, turn, pull. Explode the line. Pop, turn, pull. Half tag, turn, step, turn, in. Uh-oh. I'm over here. Am I the outside or inside? That's what I thought. No, I'm the outside.
Normal.
Normal line. Double pass through. Leaders go over relief. The others wheel around, work a trade, versus turn, California twirl. Anyway, I try to make a game out of it by putting these sound effects. I get them doing pass the ocean, saying whoosh, explode the wave, step, turn, pull, explode the line, pop, turn, pull. Make a little game for it. Okay? That's pretty much what I would do on my little intro from plus going into mainstream. If you go any deeper, if you get 4 boys in a wave, if you get boys in the middle of a wave, a half side shade, corner wave, you're asking for troubles. Especially when you're working with the mainstream group. Now, if I had a plus group and I was workshopping, then I would change arrangements and formations and stuff like that. Any questions on explode the wave? Yes, Bill?
Do you have problems? Bill Eckerman from Billerica, Massachusetts. Do you have problems when you call them explode the wave from parallel waves, if they step too far forward and they pull by and find themselves on the other side?
Okay, so in parallel waves, explode the wave, what happens is he's suggesting the guy on the end, does he go over to the other group of 4? Sometimes I see that happen. But if I do, I correct it really quickly. And if you keep saying the practice was slide through and square through 1, they know that they're supposed to turn on slide through. If you practice that, that problem goes away. Teach them just enough to get by. Don't teach them everything they need to know before they want to become a C1 dancer.
Thank you, sir. Scott Byers, Sacramento, California. I was curious about your use of explode the line. I usually use that at the advanced, and I teach it similar, but I use a step and slide is what I use. So in other words, I teach them step and slide first, then face and pull by. So I don't know what you can speak on that.
I would if it was a plus group, and maybe I'm teaching explode the line or re-emphasizing explode the line at the advanced level, but plus people don't know what step and slide is, so you can't really use it there to be a helpful hint or a tool. So the answer to your question is no, I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
At advance, if I'm overemphasizing explode the line, I'm going to show them inverted lines, 3-in-1 lines,
Right.
and not all of it is step and slide and face and pull. So you got to be careful of that. That answer your question? If not, I can give you a different answer.
I'll take a different answer.
All right, let's say you had your 3-in-1 line and the centers had either right or left hand. If you do your step and slide from that setup, you're going to end up with a ZEP. Is that how you say it in Canada?
Zed.
Is that a Z?
Z.
A Z.
Zed.
It's one of those weird formations that you don't want to get into. And so the step and slide kind of screws it up. You see what I'm saying, Scott?
Don't tell him that.
Well,
Formation
he
you
would
don't
call
wanna
that
get into.
just falling off wrong. All right. So, KISS is the main thing I'm trying to get across to you. Our next presenter, I'm going to let Terry get a square up. You want the square right away, or you want to do some talking, Terry?
Oh, yeah, that's where we're right.
All right, can we get a square?
And while we're getting a square, I'll ask my lovely wife
I'll dance.
to hand out the handouts for me.
Anyone? I'll be a boy, I'll be a girl.
I don't care.
Scott, you need a partner, do you?
I need a partner.
You need a partner, what's
I don't
the
know your
word?
hand, lady.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
Do you have a nice third word? It's a little tight.
All right, so,
You have one?
give me a second while we're doing some handouts there. Jimmy, pay attention. All right. So when I start to do related Deucey and all that with my group or working with whoever I am, we kind of emphasize a few things in the beginning. So I want the hitch to take one step into the center, turn and face the corner for me, then step out and make a wave. One of the key things that I always find with my related Deucey is that we seem to fail with, or we have some problems with, the half circulates. It kind of keeps going along each end as we're working along. So I'll spend a little bit of time working on our half circulates and just working with our end people, because that's where our camera key is. Randy, step right to the middle. Good man. So let's have the ends, which are our boys right now, do a half a circulate for me. Okay. So there we get our half a circulate. This is our spot, so as we're keeping moving along, if we were working, we can kind of work it. And we're working with our original circulate paths. Still hear me? That's all right. So we're working with our original circulate paths is what we're working on. So we're working on an outside path, no matter how we look at it. Ends have a circulate for me. Okay? So it's the boys.
Just put some here.
Okay? Boys have circulate. Okay? Very good lined up, we don't want you in place. Boys half circulate. Okay. Boys circulate 2 full spots for me, just to get you back to your original spot. Okay, make sure it's 2 full. 2 full. Okay. So it's at this point that once we have the half circulate, kind of in our mind, fresh, that we can start to look at the call. Now, I know that within our areas and different things we do, we're all guilty of using rights or left. So we talk about the definition a little bit. Half turns, next turn, 3/4, whatever we need to do. So we'll break it down each piece that we do. So with the adjacent dancer, turn half. We're not going to talk about which hand we're using. Even though we're in a right-handed wave or a left-handed wave, we're not going to talk that way. Our center people turn 3/4 with your adjacent. While they're doing that, those people that are on the outside are going to do a half a circulate. And it's key that we really talk about that you don't really stop. So you're kind of out in that no man's land or no girl's land or out in foggy waters, as some like to call it, that you're still doing a half circulate while everything's going on. So there's always somebody there waiting to kind of step up. When I attended my first convention in 2010 in Niagara Falls, New York, being a new caller, first time attendee and all that kind of type thing, I studied a lot of the handouts. Michael Mountainford, is he in here by chance? He usually is, but he's not. He done a paper that year on Relay the Deucey. And after reading the handout after I got home and everything, he brought up one of the greatest things that I picked up and I use. You have 6 people in the middle. Okay? A lot of the times, we get kind of confused on how we can do things. I'm not really confused is maybe the word, but we forget what we're doing. Michael's thing was always a 6 trade, 4 trade, 6 trade. Okay? We're going to look at that very slowly. So we have 6 people with their adjacent hand can trade. So 6 trade first. That end person that's kind of out there in no man's land has done their half a circulate, kind of waiting up to their next spot. Okay? Go for it.
Let's do it
Keep
now.
walking. Yep. So that half a circulate again. So there's 4 trade in the middle while they're doing that. Okay? So there's 4 trade. We've already kind of kicked that end person off. We're already doing another 6 trade. So 6 trade for me. Those 2 lone people are doing their half circulate. Okay? Now, the last part, and this is where we're kind of all guilty. Some are guilty, or I've probably been at times myself. Some treat this last turn that we do as a cast off 3/4, and it's kind of the wrong terminology to use.
Guy, I think he wants you to move up already.
No, not yet.
Oh,
Not quite yet.
and then you don't want this guy.
So
to
then
move up.
I have to move up.
No.
Okay.
You want to wait with 6 there?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Because they're going to do their half circulate as they're kind of doing, waiting to do. Okay? No, Jimmy, she's on the end there.
No, you're on the end.
Jimmy, you're on the end, please. Yep. Okay?
Can I halfway go on now? That's like, I'm off.
Okay? So this is where you really got to emphasize your half circulate paths, because that's where we're going to keep working. Since we're kind of moving slower, they're going to get stopped. So our last part that we have to do in order for this to finish is that the center 4 with their adjacent are going to turn 3/4. It happens to be their left, while those who are on the outside edges are doing their last half circulate. Okay? And it puts us back into our ocean wave again. Hopefully, if we took a look at the person we started out with on our right, or on the wave, we'll be there when we finish. Okay?
Yes.
As I said in the beginning, the key parts we seem to all kind of miss up on, and we get it as we're walking slow. As we walk slowly, things kind of get muddy, because if you're on that end, that half circulate is going to be going. So that's where it's key to know where your next points are. Okay? So let's walk it again. By the adjacent, turn half. Centers, by the 3/4, ends are circulating a half. 6 trade, 4 trade, 6 trade. Turn 3/4, and when your half trade is done, we should be back in our spot where we should be. The key points that you're really going to emphasize with them is that they have to really keep that half circulating. If you're working on the outside ends, whether it be the very end of that long tidal wave, when it comes your turn, or while you're out in that floating area where there's nothing going on, that you continue to move. Because if you hesitate for a split second, you can kind of get yourself into maybe losing a spot.
Note that you did not let the centers practice the end.
Can't have comment without on the recorder, please.
Name, social security. Rod Hebert, California. Note that when we practice our half circlets, you only had the boys practice half circlets, the girls didn't get to, and they're also doing it. So they should have, before you started, had to practice.
And also, you notice that he has not yet changed the reference point.
No.
He's always had this guy be the end looking out.
Right.
And I'm gonna let him continue, and he'll probably go with this, okay?
Okay? So let's relay the Deucey. Half, 3/4, half circulated up there. 6 trade, 4 trade, 6 trade, and a 3/4, and hopefully we're there. Okay? Swing through for me, please. So we kind of change the waters a little bit. So since we haven't had the girls out on this edge, or the ends, new people on the ends, let's work the half circulate with them as well. So ends, half circulate for me. Okay? Ends, half circulate. 4, 7, 4. Okay?
Just a
And just a half. Don't go full to half. Okay? Ends, half circulate for me. Okay? And to know where the half is always a key point. It's a little bit of a, how far do I really go? The urge is to want to go to that next wave. If you're kind of walking from there, you got to go halfway there. Okay? Ends, half circulate. Okay? Let's have the ends circulate 2 spots for me. Make sure it's 2 full. Centers trade for me. Okay? Take a look at that person on your right, make sure you know who they are. So let's look at our relay of the Deucey from this way. Okay? With the adjacent, turn a half. Do centers, 3/4. Half circulate on the outside edge. 6 trade. 4 trade. Okay? Keep moving up there. Yeah, half. 6 trade. Left 3/4. Now if you got your half circulate, you finish up where you started. Okay? Relay the Deucey.
Soccer.
3/4. Half circulate on the outside. 6 trade. Half circulate, 4 trade. 6 trade. 3/4.
My stalker's here.
Boy, run around the girl. Bend your line. A right and left through. A slide through. And do an element left near corner. Okay? And ask to take them back home. Okay?
Wish you could wade in here, the brains are really working.
There's that one way of looking at it. If we seem to flip it the other way, let's take the side, stick 1 step into the center for me. Please, turn and face your corner, and step up, make a wave. We're all guilty of it. We all know what happens. If we don't, we do it from the heads every time. No matter how many times we teach it, how many times we show it, we put the sides into this wave, it'll break down. It happens. Okay? Again, let's work it. Half by the right. Centers 3/4. Again, so half circulating. 6 trade, half circulating. 4 trade, half circulating. 6 trade, half circulating. About 3/4. Half trading. And you should be back there. Okay? Relay the Deucey. Half. 3/4, half trade. 6 trade. Half circulating. 4 trade. 6 trade. Half circulating. 3/4. Start with the same person, hopefully end it with the same person. Okay? as Randy said, explode your wave for me.
We doing that?
Yep, may as
Okay,
well.
good.
Okay. Do a partner trade. Pass the ocean. Split, circulate for me. In your own box.
Geez, I knew that.
Okay?
Thank you.
So if we put it as a boy-boy, girl-girl situation, 2 boys together, 2 girls together. Okay?
I'm afraid so.
That's too interesting. Okay? Do we need to work the house circulate for the ends? We're all right. All right. With adjacent turn half, relay the Deucey. Centers, 3/4, make sure it's at 3/4, half circulate, 6 trade, 4 trade, half circulate, 6 trade, half circulate, 3/4.
There we go.
Beautiful.
I'm thinking too hard.
Relay the Deucey.
Yeah.
Half circulate. 6 trade, half circulate, half 4, 6. Split circulate. Girl, run around the boy. Okay? Couple circulate. Do a Ferris wheel like this. Okay? Do a double pass through. And be careful doing track 2. Okay?
And don't forget, Terry, we're talking about a mainstream group that's just learning how to do relay the Deucey. So really other plus calls should be off the list, okay?
Okay?
Don't do that again.
I'll remember. I'll be scolded for that patrol later on. Boy, run around a girl. Bend your line. Pass the ocean. Relay the Deucey. 3/4, half circulates. 6 trade. 4 trade. 6 trade. Recycle. Say hello, beautiful. Do an Alabama left. Come back and promenade
I
back
can't
home.
believe she called me beautiful.
She said handsome.
We're back up.
Traffic jam.
That's
a bird.
That's a bird.
Go play him. He's too nice of a guy.
Want to look at another one?
Another,
Relay.
We'll do it with the boy, boy, girl, girl. So heads past the ocean for me.
You got more guts than me.
In that wave to the middle, swing through for me, please. From the wave extend. So the boy, boy, girl, girl. Relay the Deucey. Half, 3/4, 6 trade, 4 trade, 6 trade, 3/4. Everybody,
Realize he's got exceptional callers out here dancing.
I'm not used to that either.
Yeah. That's a difficult call if the mainstreamers have not done relay the Deucey before, getting into this formation and arrangement. Same formation as always, but the arrangement is different.
Right.
So, go ahead, Terry.
Swing through. Relay the Deucey. 3/4, 6 trade, 4 trade, 6 trade. Split, circulate. Boys run. Slide through. Veer left. Couple circulate a half and bend it, and you're gonna be.
Oh.
Good job, Terry.
Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any questions, Ken?
Thank you,
What
everybody.
about from left-handed one?
Oh, sure. Question was, what about a left-hand wave? You're an idiot if you do that.
yes.
Just because you can doesn't mean that you should. Okay? You have a question, Steve?
I did. For myself, a lot of times, what I would do is tell them from a parallel ocean wave. I'm sorry, this is Steve Nosek, I apologize. I would tell them at the very beginning, when you step to a wave, everybody circulate twice. And then you say, this is actually where you're going to end up when you do a relay the Deucey. diagonally opposite from where you're at. So everybody circulate again, twice again, and you're right back to your original spot. And a lot of dancers say, well, why don't you just call that instead of relay the Deucey? Because we're teaching this. And then it's a series of arm turns with same partner position, same end position, and go along. And I think the half circulate is an excellent idea, you know, to work that around the outside. So.
The joke I always make with my dancers, it's always funny, I always say, take a real good look at the person you're attached to on the right. You're hopefully going to end up with them on the other side. If you get lost along the way, maybe they didn't, you can find them again, okay?
I've been calling for over 50 years, and just in the last year or two, I picked up on this half circulate thing that Terry's talking about. And when I incorporate that into my classes, it's a cakewalk teaching relay the Deucey now. The other thing that Steve mentioned about, you know, doing your far diagonal and your two circulates, why do we do this? Why are we having this session? Because it's fun. The dancers are in a learning mode. And, you know, some callers do this because why? They're bored. Or maybe the dancers are bored, and that's why we do it again. Keep dangling the carrot, but pretty soon they get up to a program that, you know, there's nobody there to dance with them and so on. Before I get to your question, we're going to go back to Explode the Wave and think about the call analysis sheets that we have. Explode the Wave is a right-hand pull-by at the end. You certainly don't want to do right and left throughs, square throughs, a star through for the guys, bad. The hand availability is very important. You want to be using that left. So if I say head, step to a wave, and explode the wave, I'm not going to do this hand again out here. I want to do a left swing through, a left touch a quarter. Maybe I'll have the centers chase right because they just did the right pull by. Kinesiology tells you to go to your right. Pretty big word for Randy Doherty.
You wrote it down.
So use that call analysis sheet about that. It'll really help you. You want to avoid right-hand calls after explode the wave. That's what it boils down to. Okay, Scott, you had a question in relationship to the
in
Deucey?
relation to relay the Deucey, yeah. Now, I've been calling 48 years, not over 50 years, but when I look at relay the Deucey, and I've taught relay the Deucey, I found that they treat the different positions as if it's a different call. So, in other words, when I'm teaching from another position for relay the Deucey, I treat it like it's a different call. I don't treat it like it's the same call, I treat it like it's a different call, and I basically end up having to reteach the call. Instead of doing, immediately doing a split circulate and then having the boy-boy, girl-girl wave and then doing the call. So I'm curious as to, now do you do that in your class? Do you teach it that way in your class?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't have the guts.
Maybe he doesn't have old people.
I got old people.
Let me get all the way.
So you do pretty much more than one arrangement, couple arrangements?
Over a couple of weeks. We'll work on one arrangement for 1 week, and then as we go back next week, whatever, we'll kind of work on that, refresh it in their mind, and then work on it again.
He did touch on about what Steve was saying. He had you circulate twice around the outside, but he didn't overemphasize, hey, this is where you're going to be. And then he had him circulate twice again to get him right back here. Somebody kick his butt. Okay, good morning. When we do relay the Deucey, I'd like to also point out that person that you have in your right hand, would you inspect that right hand and see if there's any rings, imperfections, anything else? Be able to identify that hand in a lineup, that kind of a thing. And then I also tell them, keep track of where those people are going. So when I turn half, that lady is going to keep her eyes on me. I go 3/4, she's right there. I keep my eyes on her. She's moving along, and so you're never more than one person away from that person.
It's a stalker-stalky method.
I have not heard of it that way. Go ahead and tell them what you said.
Okay. Scott Byers, Sacramento, California. It's one of my methods of teaching relay the Deucey. I call that the stalker-stalky method. One of you is going to be a stalker, one of you is going to be a stocky. You're going to be stalked. Great. So I call it the stalker-stalky method. Follow that person around.
You got to be careful where you use that terminology.
That's your team club, you do that?
No.
Team club, yeah. Same place that the Alcoholics Anonymous meets.
I teach in the local jail, so.
All right, are we, any other questions on Relay the Deucey? How about a nice hand for Terry? If I didn't get it. Without further ado, Brad Caldwell, here he comes.
All right, on the Relay the Deucey, you're talking about the two circulates to show them here's where you would finish. I actually go out on the floor and stand in the middle of each square when I'm teaching Relay the Deucey at Plus, and have them rotate their squares around me. And I tell them, if you really don't want to do the call, if you can convince everybody in the square to do this, you can do this, I don't care. But you're going to get some funny looks, so why don't you try and learn the call? And it kind of opens the eyes for some of the people that have been dancing Plus a long time, that they suddenly realize what it is that they've been doing. They really are clueless sometimes about where they were going. It's just like they magically appeared next to that same person again, and they didn't realize that they were just taking their whole wave and turning it. So I use that as an illustration, and then I have them take it right back where they were, and then I say, so you remember where you were a minute ago, that's where you're going to finish, and that's my start for teaching on it, and I do much the same. I present it a little bit differently, but after I've gotten the initial walkthrough, I teach basically on the first night. I teach 2 center parts to each person, to 2 people, or 4 people, and 2 end parts to 4 people. So let's say we started in right-hand waves, boys on the end. Boys will have had both of the ends parts by the time my teach is done. Girls will have had both of the center parts by the time I'm done. And then, like you said, over the next week or so, introduce the other pieces. That's the way I approach it, and I think it works well. And honestly, what you were saying a minute ago about, remember, these are experienced callers, you know, putting them in this situation at a mainstream dance might not work so well, but frankly, I would actually place bets that showing it to new dancers that don't know it, like our Plus dancers know it, would probably be met with more success than trying to talk to your Plus dancers through it that have been dancing it for 20 years and doing it all from rote memorization.
Yeah, angels sometimes are a hindrance.
Oh, yeah.
My co-caller over here, Jay King, says he was mumbling underneath his breath about, oh, I guess we wouldn't be doing the left relay the Deucey. Well, first of all, I don't think it's the place, if it's at a mainstream dance, you don't want to emphasize that relays are always in and adjacent dancers, okay? So if you have them in a left-hand wave, it's not necessary to say left relay the Deucey. Is it the point in time that we're talking about that we need to bring that up? No. Now, if they're in facing couples, there is a call called left relay the Deucey, and that means step to the left-hand wave and then do the call. So the handedness of a relay is the adjacent and end dancer, so you don't go into it so much. Okay? Same way with spins and ends and centers. All right? So, but somewhere down their dancing career, you need to emphasize that relays are the adjacent and end dancers. There is no such thing as a left relay the Deucey unless you're in facing couples. Okay? Brad, you ready with your what, linear?
I'm ready with linear, sort of. And I'll give this caveat. I didn't get that memo that we were workshopping out of mainstream. So most of what I have written in the handout that I gave out assumes that they already have Plus, and that's okay. Because it comes down to, if I were teaching this, or if I were presenting it as a Plus workshop, the very first thing I'm going to do is revisit the definition and revisit the simplest uses. So let's get a square if we can.
Can we get a square of volunteers? He just said he was going to keep it simple.
I'm going to keep it simple.
Until I'm done.
Boy or girl? Doesn't matter.
And, you know, at Plus, we're kind of limited to the use of linear cycle, because it says expressly at Plus, linear cycle is waves only. So we start out with a pretty big limitation of what we can do for linear cycles. So let's have heads step into the middle, face your corner, and everybody just step 2 away. Have the girls trade, do a linear cycle.
What are we gonna do?
Okay, I'm about to show you where we're gonna go with that. All right, pass the ocean. Have the girls trade. I believe we're all back where we started after we stepped to the wave, right? So the first thing that I might do, if I was gonna introduce it as a linear cycle at a mainstream dance, is everybody do a recycle. We know that call, recycle. Veer to your left, bend your line. All right, when we finish the call that I'm about to show you, this is where you're going to end, all right? Pass the ocean. Do a recycle. Veer left and bend. All right, pass the ocean. Now, this time we're going to do that a little bit differently. We're not actually going to do a recycle, we're going to do something different. Let's do a hinge. Now the ones that are facing out, I want you to fold behind the ones that are facing in. Now we're all going to double pass through and then finish like you did just a minute ago. Boys, you're going to turn to your right. Girls, you're going to turn to your right. And we're all face back in our line of 4. And so we've got the idea of how we got to this point. Now, I'm going to go back and present the definition. I'm going to leave them in that no man's land because I don't want them saying, Brad taught me that we always do this. So pass the ocean. So when we do this call, it's really a 3-part call, something that is new to me, and I don't understand why we have this as a 3-part call. This is not something I'm saying to the dancers. This is something I'm saying to the callers in the room. All right, but hinge. Now the ones that are facing out, I want you to do a fold, and now everybody do like a double pass-through action, and that would be the second part. First was the hinge, then the out-facers fold, and everybody double pass-through action is the second part. The third part is our peel. Now, what is a peel? In this case, you hinge by your right hand. So I want you to, boys, I want you to turn to your right and take a step forward. Girls, I want you to step forward and turn to your right. All the way around to face back in. All right? So that's the peeling action. We don't already know peel off, so we have to give them some sort of context for what is a peeling action. All right? Pass the ocean again. Now, we're going to do those first 2/3. What did I say they were? Hinge. Now the ones facing out fold and all double pass. So when we do our peeling action, it's going to be whatever hand we hinged with, we're going to turn in that direction, and we're going to turn 180 degrees, like the U-turn back, except not in place. We're going to turn 180 degrees, almost like a wheel around, boys. And then girls, you're going to step forward and also turn 180 degrees, turning to your right. Go ahead and do it. All right? So that might be my first introduction to get them into the idea of doing it. All right, pass the ocean. Now we've got the idea of the call, let's do it. Linear cycle, hinge, the ones facing out fold. Let's all do our double passing action, let's all do our peeling action. We got a beautiful line. Let's reverse flutter wheel. Go guys, in bottom left, pick her up, bring her back. Pass the ocean. Now notice I brought the boys to the same place that they've been, or yes. But I brought the girls to a new place, and they've got a new guy. All right, so from here, let's do our linear cycle. And also notice that since I'm talking to people that don't need it, I didn't give all the helper words, although I'd probably at this point still be giving the helper words. All right, so now I've had the girls do 2 center positions for the linear cycle. Pass the ocean. Let's let them do it one more time. Do your linear cycle. Get your hinge, those facing out fold. Let's do our double pass, and let's do our peeling action. It's to the right, as we hinge with our right hand. Notice I keep re-emphasizing that we're turning to our right. Why? Because we hinge with our right hand. I didn't say from now until forever. I said right now. This is what we're doing. Pass the ocean. Let's go with Randy's Explode the Wave. Step through, face in, pull behind. There we go. Everybody partner trade. Pass the ocean, because I lost myself for a second. Swing through. Board run. I got that part.
Oh, okay.
Bend the line, slide through, and are you looking at your corner?
Yes.
Yes? All right. So now we got to get those boys over to the other side. So let's step 2 away, and boys trade. Now that could be risky in a lot of places. Doing a boys trade with boys on the end of the line. So you give them a minute and you say, yeah, oh yeah, not a circulate, guys, yes, a trade. That's what we wanted. Now let's have the girls trade. And that'll bring them back to having their corner in their hand. They feel comfortable. All right, so here we go. Let's linear cycle, hinge. The ones facing out fold. Let's do our double passes. Let's do our peels. We peeled right because we hinged right, right? Pass the ocean just like that. Have the girls trade. Let's do our linear cycle, hinge. Do your folds, do your double passes, do your peels. Beautiful reverse flutter wheel. Guys, go in, pick her up, bring her back. Wonderful. Do a right and left through. Let's slide through, and we're looking at our corner again. We could be home right now. Yes?
Yes.
All right. So, step 2 away. Girls trade. Now it's time to look at it another direction. Let's do our linear cycle. Hinge, those facing out, fall, do your double pass, do your peel to the right. Good. Reverse flutter wheel. Guys go in, pick them up, bring them back. Send her back Deucey style to a wave. Boys trade with each other. Who do we have? We're back with our corner. We've been with them repeatedly as we come back and forth doing this. We're back with our corner. Now we set it up in the left hand. Why am I having the girls lead? Because I want them to feel comfortable when we're done. I'm going to take them to a normal, big air quotes, normal formation, one that they're comfortable with, all right? So everybody hinge by the left. Notice that you did a hinge by the left. Now who's facing out? Go ahead and fold behind the ones facing in. Do your double pass through but left shoulders and peel to your left. We've already got the concept of peel. That left-handed peel comes naturally to us at that point because we'd already been doing the right-handed peel repeatedly. Now, do a right and left through. Deucey style to a wave. Boys trade. Let's linear cycle, hinge. The boys are going to fold. We're going to do our double pass. We're going to peel to our left. Let's flutter wheel. Girls go in, pick them up, bring them back. Let's pass the ocean. We don't want to forget how we forget what we were doing to start with, so let's have the girls trade. Let's all do a linear cycle, just like this. Reverse the flutter wheel. Deucey style to a wave. Now they're dancing with the same people over and over, but they're getting the flow smoothly through all of this. Boys trade with each other. Do a linear cycle. Hinge, he's going to fold. We're going to do our double pass. We're going to peel to our left. So we've got our lines of 4. Do a right and left through. Flutter wheel. Slide through. You're looking at your corner, Alaman left, and we're all done. So, most of what I wrote was not on an initial presentation at a mainstream dance. But this is how I would present it if I were presenting this as a workshop tip at a mainstream dance. Yeah, these dancers are excellent. It didn't take any pounding them over the head with a microphone to get them to do it. They already know their stuff. But I think, hope that the way I explained it just then would have been clear to even a new, or not a recent graduate, but a mainstream dancer that had a little bit of time under their belts. I want to look at one more thing. Head, step into the middle, face your corner. Pass the ocean. Girls trade. Linear cycle, hinge. Who are the out facers? There we go, come around and face each other. Was that hard for them? There were 2 girls that would have had some hesitation in doing that. There are the girls that are on the outside now, but let's do it again. Pass the ocean. Those girls trade, because I want the same, is that the same girls? No, those girls trade again. All right, so here's where the rub is when we start to do it from here. You've got to remind people that at the start of this call, and actually throughout the call, we're working only in our group. We're ignoring those people on the other side. We have to build that wall between those people. It's just like calling a split circulate from a column. We've got to remind them, hey, there's a wall there. All right, listen, hinge. Now, who are the ones facing out of your group? That would be the girls. We could also say, who are the leaders in that group? That would be the girls. They would do the fold. So go ahead and fold, girls. Now, do your passing action, double pass, and do your peel to the right. And there you go. We don't worry about crossing over the center. And hopefully that would be clear to them. I probably wouldn't present this at a mainstream dance, but it would be probably where I would start when I started to expand on it at a plus dance.
See, now I'm kind of looking at the exact opposite. I would have, he's changed the formation, but the feel and the people he's been working with for so long, I would go right ahead and go into that. Step to your wave, and the girls trade. The only thing that I would mention, Brad, maybe that I would have done is get these 4 away from each other. Boys circulate twice.
Yeah.
Now remember, we had our corner, so now that guy's coming up to his what? Right-hand lady.
Very nice lady, too.
Yeah, and so usually I say boys circulate twice, and I'll say I'll give you some better girls to work with. And, you know, some of our girls will kind of give me the,
But she was so appealing.
yes.
Hey, you dishing my wife?
Linear cycle. right through. What kind of a box or formation are we in? We're looking at the who? Across the street, we're looking at the...
Right, I can't believe it.
Very good. Past the ocean. Ladies trade. Left explode the wave.
Left, it's facing left-hand pull away. Left-hand pull.
I guess you guys weren't at the earlier session.
I was not.
I lied. Previous, I said there is no such thing as left explode the wave or explode the sea. There is no such call. And yet there is. If the caller puts the word left in front of the explode the wave, it is legit. It means to do a left pull by, which then the hand availability is the what?
Right.
Right hand. So I might do Dixie Grand or something like this, or somehow. Let's face in, pass through, wheel and deal, and the centers, would you wheel around? Trying to remember here. Step 2 away. And is everybody with the corner? Mm-hmm. All right. Swing through. Boy run. Wheel and deal. Pass to the center. And the center star through. I'm setting you up for something. Same centers touch a border. Same centers walk and dodge. Swing through. Single hinge. Boy run. Pass through. Tag the line. Face in. Go forward and come way back. Bend the line. In reverse order of the parts, explode the wave.
Okay, let's see, pull line first.
Holy crap, where did you come up with that? Yeah. So, the rule was step, turn, and pull. Now it would be pull, turn, and step 2 away. You don't have to like it. What it does.
I don't believe I'd have done that.
Yeah. Well, usually I do it so I got right and left grand get out right here, but we do have a right and left grand. Don't we set around a sequence or something? Or in sequence. So we could do right and left grand. If you said that in reverse order of parts, explode the wave, they're gonna hoot and holler and stumble around. But if you do right and left grand, immediately after that, they're gonna be fuzzy and warm again. So go ahead and promenade your partner.
I want to go backward.
Yes, I know.
So what Brad presented was, again, his rest of his handouts got some very good get-outs and setups for showing more linear cycles than just visiting at a mainstream day. So it was a little bit of disadvantage if you didn't get the memo. So anyway, how about a nice hand for Brad? Anything else you want to play with?
No, with the squares, no.
Okay, squares you are dismissed.
Thank you, square. Let's have a big hand for the square.
Somebody have a question over
We
there?
have a question. We have a question right back here.
Mike's got one.
Thank you. Mike Prescott from Anchorage, Alaska. So we're assuming that this is at a mainstream event and you're introducing linear cycle. For the part for teaching the peel, since peel is not part of the mainstream list, would it be legitimate to use fold or a folding action as what the leaders do? Understanding that there's supposed to be a shoulder involvement in there.
I kind of like that, a folding action or a running action. Either one would work for the leader. For the trailer, it really is a step forward and U-turn, but in the direction of the correct direction for the peel. I think folding or running for the leader works either way. Generally, when I teach linear cycle, I've already taught peel off. So when not talking about it, presenting it in a mainstream program, they already have peel off. I just tell them we're going to peel in a particular direction. So rather than a peel off, it's going to be a peel to your right or to your left, just depending on what hand you use to start. But I'm good with the fold.
So when Brad picked linear cycle, he probably didn't give a lot of thought to that peel not being taught. So maybe he would have taught peel off not the true peel off, but the peel doing the last third of the linear cycle. Now, would I tell people they're doing the last third of linear cycle? No, I just kind of warm them up. But again, I like what he was, the one time you said it was kind of like a reverse wheel around, which it does when you're doing that peel off to the right. And then when he had the left hand set up, it felt more like a normal wheel around, like a normal wheel around. Okay? Any other questions? Boy.
Jay's got it.
I don't know if you would introduce this at the point where you're playing right now, but linear cycle, girls meet and scoot back. Linear cycle, girls meet and finish follow your liver and spread. Is that legal?
If you can get the people through it, I'd do it. If you can't get the people through it, they don't want to try. Yeah. I think linear cycle and the girls would meet, scoot back, and then what do you want them to do? Step back out to the right hand way?
Finish it. Well, you know, they'd step back out to the ball.
Or do you want them to step ahead and plus do their peel?
Finish the scoot back, just step straight back out. And
So you have
go right hand way. Yes.
Yeah, boy, girl, right hand way. See, that's the ambiguous part. Do they then, after they turn through, walk forward and peel right? Did you want that to happen, or did you want them to stop and make that wave with the girls looking out? Really have to be careful on calling that.
Any other questions?
I got some other weird stuff, I ain't gonna show it.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you're teaching your linear cycle, how many have ever had that point of, I know within New Brunswick, Jimmy and Patty McLean and myself can probably contest to this like there's no tomorrow. We always, for myself, or how many find that if they don't emphasize their first part, their hinge, that their linear cycle can go to all the pieces very quickly.
Yes.
I myself work on that hinge very much first before they go anywhere, because if they don't, that is the basis of them being able to finish properly and get into the right spot. If I don't, and just kind of say hinge to a lot of people, I know it's 1 1/4 turn, some will go 3/8, some will go half, some will take off before the other person folds.
3/8 can dance.
And that's where it can kind of get interesting. So I just wonder how many other people had that same kind of issue.
Anybody have a comment to that? How many have tried that?
I haven't tried that Scott Byers, Sacramento, California, but I run into a problem if I don't emphasize the end dancer facing in stays in his own line. If I don't mention that at the beginning and make sure that's emphasized over and over and over again, those men take off and go across the square, is what happens. So when I'm teaching linear cycle, as long as I make sure that that man kind of looks over and sees where the other man is, and I say, you're going to end up over there on that side. Okay, you're not going to go straight ahead, you're going to go there. I don't usually say you're not going straight ahead, but I say you're going to go over there, because I don't like to tell them what not to do. It's like, don't think of an elephant. You're going to think of an elephant.
Did you have something?
Real quickly, one of the ways that I address that is simply to point out that some calls change types of walls, some calls don't change types of walls. Linear cycle is the kind that changes types of walls. You start out looking at a head wall, you have to end up looking at a side wall in some way, shape, or form. That gives you a 50-50 right away.
Thank you, Brad. Rod Shipping, Lancaster, California. Too many callers out there teach that incorrectly and teach it kind of like a recycle sweep a quarter more. And I guarantee you, if you teach it that way, the dancers will not be able to do a linear cycle from the tidal wave. They will not end up in the right spot. So make sure when you teach these calls like this, teach them properly. Don't let them lose it to the shortcuts. And if you got plus dancers who've been dancing for a couple of years and insist on doing the shortcut, put them in a tidal wave, and they'll find out that they've got to do it right.
Yeah, understand that when I did that initial presentation, I was giving them the flow of the call. I wanted them to feel where they were going to end. That's all I was trying to do, was get them to understand. And I didn't call it a linear cycle. I didn't say we're going to do a recycle and sweep a quarter. We're not gonna do a recycle beer left and bin the line. What we're going to do is this other thing, but I'm bringing you around here, I want you to feel this over and over so you know where you're gonna end up. Was it you, Bill, that had your hand up?
Bill Eckerman, Dougherty, Massachusetts. I find linear cycle a really troublesome call for all these reasons. And the hardest part is that after you hinge, the lead folds. Who's the lead? They have a tiny fraction of a second after the hinges happen to realize they are leads. That's not enough time. It's better if they realize before the hinge, they're centers. They're the ones who are going to fold. So what I say is to the ends, say a normal right-hand wave with boys on the end, and then we do it with other arrangements. Boys on the end, lean forward a little bit, look to your right, look down that line. Linear cycle, the word means line. You're going down that line. You're going to hinge and you're going to walk straight down that line. That takes care of your problem.
Yes, it does.
Walking off into
It's
the other
pretty
side.
much what I do.
And the girl next to you or whoever, you're going to follow him down that line. Then you go down the line and you deal with the peel-off stuff.
Good explanation. The linear's got the word line in it, so.
Ready?
You're awfully quiet, Eric. Okay. Let's see. We have
1 minute.
1 minute. Let's get the heck out of here.
Let's have a big hand for Randy.
Nice hand for Brad and Terry also. Use good judgment when you do these kinds of things and don't dangle more than one carrot at a time.